Thanks for joining us for another For Investors by Investors Long Beach podcast. As always, we're proud to be your all-education real estate resource without any kind of sales pitch. If you'd like to attend one of our meetings in person, we meet on the last Thursday of the month at the Grand in Long Beach, California. You can RSVP on forinvestorsbyinvestors.com/Long Beach. To find more investment resources such as blogs and podcasts and content from other FIBI groups, you can go to forinvestorsbyinvestors.com and search our entire library. Now, on to the podcast.
I don't know. What kind of technology you guys want to talk about?
Do you guys use Podio?
Mm-mm.
No.
No, we built our own CRM software.
Got it.
Yeah. I mean, I wish I could. Our corporate office out of Dallas is the one that built it, and I'm really not that brilliant when it comes to technology. But it's pretty good. I mean, it literally services the acquisition lead from start to closing, the investor from the first initial contact to the time they buy a property, and we're able to track everything and, stay in communication with them. So it's not perfect by any means, but it's relatively good, I would say.
Yeah. And how about on your sales side?
Same CRM software that we work. We named it Homeland, which it's pretty good. So if you go to our website and we have a bunch of affiliates that we deal with too for like lead generations. Once they come through, we're able to reach out to them. The thing about us is we don't sell properties to anybody that we haven't met with in person, which a lot of investors have a hard time with, right?
Right.
Like, what do you mean I have to meet with you in person? But that's just the process. Like, there are so many buyers out there. If I don't know who you are, if I haven't qualified you, if you haven't provided me with a proof of funds or some type of, pre-approval letter from a hard money lender, do you really think I'm going to get in my car and drive from Long Beach to Pasadena to show you a house? Is never going to happen. So we have a very exclusive network of investors. We don't just blast these properties on the MLS. We don't just blast them on the market. Like, if you're going to go out to one of our showings, every other investor that's out there is a proven qualified buyer, right? So you know who you're dealing with. So, we're pretty exclusive when it comes to that.
That's a great point. Is there any real estate agents that's gotta pre-qualified? 100%.
Do you utilize the PLS, pocket listing service?
We try to make connections with brokers and agents like yourself to bring us the pocket listings. What is PLS?
Just pocket listing service.
It's like an MLS type of deal for pocket listings?
Yeah, it's a relatively new.
Nice. No, I have not.
For people, again, who don't want the publicity behind it.
But then it's
nice.
Ironic. It's on pocketlisting.com.
Yeah, it is kind of ironic.
Yeah,
I haven't heard of it though, no. But we'll look into it. Yeah, absolutely, great.
Pocket listing on the internet.
Guys, write that down.
Yes. You touched on hard money. You need a proof of funds letter from a hard money lender.
Correct.
How are your investors typically funding their deals? Are they coming to you with all cash or?
The majority of them, I'd say probably 85-90% are hard money. That's just because California is so expensive.
Is that Texas as well, or like the other places?
Man, Texas, you can run into someone at Starbucks that can afford to buy a house out there. Like 30 to 60,000. The first house I ever sold in Texas was $30,000. Like, come on. This is a completely different market. Most people use hard money out here. Yeah.
Are the sellers that you're selling to typically like in an urgent state? Like, are they willing to take a big haircut on the price of the house?
I wouldn't say a huge haircut. Like, sometimes they're in a desperate state, but there aren't really that many short sales or notice of defaults or any type of really financially distressed situations anymore. More of it is like a standard sale, someone who has a lot of equity. They don't want to do the renovations. They don't want to deal with the headaches of open houses and realtors. They don't want to pay the commissions. So, not really. Sometimes, but not on a day-to-day basis.
Is there a price range that you guys do the deals?
We're the most successful between $500,000 and $600,000, and we do a lot of our business in like South LA, Long Beach, South Bay, those areas. We're occasionally dabbling in the $1 million+ range, but that's not our bread and butter.
Okay.
But obviously that's the ARV, not the purchase
acquisition,
price.
Right?
Our average purchase price, I think, for last year, and I haven't done it yet this year, but it was like $540 purchase price.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that's between Orange County and Los Angeles County. Yeah.
So what's typically your idea of a profit margin then?
Typically, investors, their cash-on-cash return, they're probably doing anywhere from 10 to 15% if it's a cosmetic fixer, if it's something that they don't have to do big value add to, and that's under $1 million probably. If they want anything higher than probably 15%, they're going to have to do value adds, which is, adding bedrooms, bathrooms, significant construction work that takes 6 months to 8 months, or the $1 million plus range. We can offer higher ROI, but obviously there's more risk involved in that.
So do you only use hard money? Because you kind of mentioned about hard money. Do you also use private money, or do you have a pool of investors that usually get that?
For our money?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all the partners' money. Yeah, we don't have to use hard money or nothing. So all of them, basically I came out here and I had the backing of the partners who were out of Dallas, and they provide me all of the money. Now our investors, they usually use hard money, some private money, lines of credit, things like that, but for the most part, hard money.
And how do you get those kind of money then? Like private money?
Them?
Or have you have you ever had to use outside money or private money or hard money?
I haven't. No.
You haven't?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it's easy. You make a few phone calls. Yeah, they're asset-based loans, so it doesn't really matter what your credit score is. They're judging the loan based off the asset, So if you purchase it from me, let's say for 75% of the value, right? And then a hard money lender is going to come in and they're going to lend 75% of the purchase price, right? Their loan to value, they're in such a strong leverage position that it doesn't matter. Realistically, you kind of would keep your fingers crossed that they would default, right? Because then you have 45% equity plus the points plus the interest. It just makes sense. So anybody can get a hard money loan, realistically, if the deal's right.
Right. Yeah, on top of that, another place that you can get private money is probably around this kind of environment when you come to network. Because who here actually has deals but no money, no capital? Okay, who here has capital but no deals? Well, there you go. So you see that a lot of people do have capital, and they come here because they want to provide that kind of capital to invest in some kind of project. So if you have a deal, if you're a flipper, you know where to find your private money then, right? So you guys can talk to each other if you guys are looking for money. But speaking of deals, how do you structure your deals then? Because I'm assuming you work with all kinds of different investors then, right?
Yeah, so the way we structure our transactions is pretty straightforward. If you want to buy from us, there's no contingency period, no option period, no appraisal contingency, nothing. If you want to buy it, you have to bring $20,000 cashier's check, sign a contract, close within 14 to 20 days. That's it. Yeah. So we don't really play games.
That's straightforward.
But the deals are good. We can't afford to waste time with people who want to play games. The people who want to contract a property and then immediately go in for a price reduction. Or they want to, contract a property and have a 17-day inspection. Who has 17 days to waste, right? I want to close 2 deals in 17 days, not hopefully 1.
Wow.
It's
fast. You move fast.
So if you're negotiating with the sellers directly to get the property under market, and then you're hoping to still sell it to the investor under market, how many of these deals that you guys are doing are truly under market when they go and do an appraisal? Because if they're doing hard money, they're going to get an appraisal of some kind.
Most lenders will do appraisals. Yeah, a lot of them will do their own BPOs and desktop evaluations, but they're all going to be under market value. Now, how deeply discounted they are, that's just, up to the opinion of the appraiser, right? So, it just kind of depends on the deal. Some appraisers have no idea what they're doing. Some are accurate. It's tough.
So are you guys providing the comps?
So we provide a CMA. We're not going to tell you what the property is worth because historically we have been wrong. Not wrong in a bad way. Last year, for example, we were providing ARVs on every single deal, right? And at the end of the year, I ran comp. I pulled all of the properties and saw what they sold for. Over 70% of the properties that we sold, we under-evaluated the ARV. They sold it for higher than what we thought it was worth. So that just kind of came to we don't really know. Who knows, right? These markets are appreciating so fast that it's crazy. And a lot of our investors, they're doing such good renovations to where they're setting the market. they are the highest sale in that comp. They are the highest sale in that neighborhood. And, you know, when they blow our ARV out by $100,000, does that did I leave money on the table? I don't know. Maybe I don't know what I'm doing, but they're coming back and they're buying more deals from me, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so what's your criteria for like actually getting involved with the property?
What do you mean?
What's like when you do your ads and you get your leads, out of those leads, which ones do you choose to actually like buy?
Oh, we work every single one of them.
Oh, so your goal is to just get.
So we're only going to advertise to like a specific, you know, market. They have to have enough equity or low enough mortgage amount. But if they call us, we're going to go sit down and see their house. I mean, it's just that, and that's what a lot of people won't do. A lot of people are going to try to negotiate the price in the first conversation. That just never happens, man. They're going to always tell you the highest dollar amount, right? Yeah. If you sit down with them face to face, you're going to have a lot more, you know, success. So, I mean, that's kind of what we press on our acquisition agents. Like, go sit down with them, meet them, get to know them, see where you're at.
So on that, to continue the conversation, so on that, when they sit down, when your reps go into the house to sit down, are they also doing a walkthrough?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're evaluating the condition of the property, what it's going to need, a rough estimate. I mean, we're not licensed contractors by any means, but you know, we can ballpark what it's going to need, any type of major repairs, and then, you know, be able to provide them an offer right then and there. And if they like it, they do. If not, no big deal. We move on to the next one.
What's your minimum as far as the undervalue?
It depends on the area.
Okay. So
as far as Long Beach, I mean, we can push Long Beach. We could probably sell a deal in Long Beach for 80 to 85 cents on the dollar purchase price plus repairs. Mm-hmm. So, meaning an investor would have 15% equity, you know, so we can push it in certain areas. But a lot of those areas also are appreciating 10% a year, you know, so by the time you do renovations in 4 to 6 months, I mean, another 5% appreciation. So it just depends.
Yes, go ahead.
How many deals do you come across in a month span, so to speak?
Like deals that I do or deals that we look at?
Deals that you actually acquire.
I mean, we had a good month last month, and we're hopefully, as long as nothing crazy happens tomorrow, we're going to do like 31 this month. So closed. That means we probably had to look at, 100, 120 at least, right? Probably offer on 200. Oh yeah, it's a numbers game. Oh yeah, for sure.
So 120, and you close at 30.
To look at, yeah. As far as leads, I mean, you have to look at a lot of deals. Most of our acquisition agents probably submit anywhere from, I don't know, 7 to 10 offers a week to maybe get one accepted.
That's aggressive.
You know, and so we have 35 of those.
So are you acting like as a wholesaler then? Because you're not actually renovating or doing anything with the property.
I mean, technically we're a wholesaler, but we're a brokerage and we're a buyer. So the difference between us and your traditional wholesaler that you'll see is we buy them. We close on them with our own money. We're licensed. You know, we're not just daisy chaining them. We're not just assigning them. We're not doing a double escrow. We're closing on them and then reselling them to investors.
But then there's closing costs involved, right, on either end.
Oh, absolutely,
So I'm going to pay closing costs.
You're going to pay both. Yeah, you're going to reimburse us for our front side closing costs.
Oh, I
too.
am?
Yeah.
Oh. It's kind of expensive to go through you.
It is, yeah, but you have a huge discount, so it is what it is, right?
So if I found the same discount and I can give somebody else the
then you wouldn't need us,
right?
yeah.
But
The reason we make buyers pay for all of our closing costs is because we sell them at a deep discount. So if we were to cover our own closing costs, I'd have to just jack up my price a little bit, right? So our margins are so tight that you're actually going to pay for what I pay, versus me just, you know, estimating that it costs 2% or 1.5%, whatever it is, and I'm always going to estimate high, right? This way you're reimbursing us for our exact costs. You know, we're a volume-based business. Yeah, we're not trying to hit home runs on individual deals. We're trying to sell you 10 deals, not just one.
Right. Otherwise, you'd be rehabbing.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you guys don't do any rehab yourself?
I mean, individual agents will, but as a business model, we do not.
Okay.
You know, which is an advantage for investors because the companies that do, typically they're going to keep the best deals for themselves, right? And they're going to wholesale the ones that aren't quite as good, right? With us, we're going to sell them all.
Yeah, go ahead.
So what is your typical hold period between the time that you purchase the property and the time that you sell it off to an investor? And I guess just a follow-up question to that would be, are you matching investors before you even close on the deal that you're?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. So we want to hold it as little time as possible.
Yeah, of course.
The least amount of time that we can own the property, the least amount of holding costs that we have, which means that we can sell it to an investor for the cheapest amount. So a day, 2 days, sometimes a little bit more, but as little time as possible.
Okay, so I would imagine that a lot of the times you have relationships that you built up with investors, and you know exactly what Bob Smith is looking for, and as soon as you find something with that criteria, you're probably pulling him up and saying, "Yeah, I've got something for you."
We don't cater towards specific buyers. We're going to send it out to our entire network.
Okay.
So everybody who's a qualified buyer, they're going to have a fair shot to buy a deal.
Okay.
So there's not a priority or you've bought a deal from us in the past, I'm going to give you first access. It doesn't work that way, So we're giving everybody equal access to the property, and if you're able to make your decision quickly and you're able to bring a deposit, sign a contract, close quickly, we guarantee clear and marketable title. So if anything comes up, we're going to refund your money. But other than that, you have to be ready to close quickly.
Yeah.
So do you have your escrow in-house, or do you guys have like a network of companies that you work with?
Yeah, we use a handful of escrow companies. Yeah, so nobody that's affiliated with us, but the ones that have the cheapest prices and that are very professional and licensed by the DVL.
And the seller pays well, or it's part of the deal.
It depends on how we negotiate the deal. Yeah, so on the purchase, ideally, right, the seller will pay for the closing costs, but we'll do whatever it takes to get the deal. If that means us paying all the closing costs, transfer tax, title insurance, we'll do it. So it is what it is. We disclose all of those costs to the buyer, though. You're going to know exactly what you're going to pay. So it's not like it's going to be a huge surprise.
You said you have to meet everybody, so you wouldn't work with an out-of-state buyer?
It doesn't really make sense for us. Because in order for someone to buy from us, they have to go and look at the property and be able to make a decision right there. I have a lot of respect for the folks that invest out of state and manage projects out of state. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's really, really hard. You have to be very trusting. Maybe I'm just too much of a control freak, but it's tough.
Your team is very important.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You got to have the right people, the right staff. You got to be able to trust them. We had a lot of different horror stories too. Even people that's going to scam your money. We had a property management before that we thought we could trust, totally scam a lot of money from us. And then we found out all the properties were not even updated, and they're just letting people live into it and charging the high rent. And sometimes they don't even report the right rent, so they're taking all the spread, the difference. And it's examples like that. You got to find somebody that you can trust, and you've worked over time, and you probably have to vet them out. Like, how do you vet your team?
Who, the people that work with us?
Yeah.
I interview them, and then I set them on a second interview process and make sure they're able to get licensed. And yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's just make sure that they're the right fit. It's hard. Not everybody's built for this.
You guys are in 25 states?
25? No. 25 offices, 8 states.
8 states.
Yeah.
How did you guys choose the location you're expanding to?
Honestly, our business model is going to work anywhere. Any big major metropolitan city. But the people who started with this originally, they get a pick. I picked Southern California. I was living in Houston. I was tired of, somewhat low quality of life. I was tired of the mosquitoes. I was tired of the heat. And I just came to a point in my life to where, money didn't quite make me that happy anymore. I wanted more. So that's when I came out here 5 years ago and just decided to open up the office. A lot of people thought I was crazy, right? I feel like everybody was going the opposite way from California to Texas, and realistically, I wish I would have came out here 5 years earlier,
So you may have already said this, so I apologize if it's a repeat, but so when you do your email blast to your approved population, right, is it first come, first serve?
Sometimes, yeah. So originally when we came out here, our business model was first come, first serve exclusively, right? But the market has kind of changed. The inventory has gotten lower. So if it's a vacant property and we send it out and you guys can go and look at it at any time, yes, it's going to be first come, first served. If it's an occupied property and we have a short showing window, then we're going to schedule a showing. And all of the investors are going to get through that showing. If we have multiple buyers for that property at that showing, then what we're going to do is a one-time highest and best. We're not going to do multiple offers, counters. We're not going to play the traditional MLS game. You're going to submit the highest number that you're comfortable with paying, and we're going to accept the highest one. That's it.
Right, so I'm not going in multiple times saying, well,
no.
Okay.
I'm not going to work his offer against your offer
right.
and just go back and forth. It's going to be one time.
Yeah.
So the last thing that we want to do is, and you'll see it a lot in auctions and a lot of bidding situations, to where people let pride get and the competition get the best of them, and they overpay for properties. And then they don't make money on the property. And then who are they going to blame for that? Me, right? No one wants to blame themselves. So that's why we structure it that way. We feel like it's the fairest way to structure those situations.
On the lead generation side, you mentioned that you haven't had much success with social media. Why do you think that is?
Honestly, I think it's us just not focusing as hard as we should on it. It's something that I personally am terrible at. And so, it kind of trickles down across the board to everybody else. And I just, it's something that we're working on, but, I don't know. It's crazy because Facebook and Instagram, you can target these search and these advertisements. It's crazy. You can target, empty nesters between 50 and 60, in specific areas, specific zip codes. Like, it's incredible. We just haven't mastered it yet. And
do you think there's potential?
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, people are killing it on that. We just haven't yet.
Yeah. Hey, question. So I'm going to tag on to the other question here. So your reps, do you want them to come to your office licensed, or do you take them through the process?
Yeah, in order for them to actually do any business for us, they have to be licensed. Okay, so I've started folks where they're going to start their training, but they have to be within 30 to 60 days from being able to get their license. Until they're licensed, they're just my assistant, which isn't a very nice situation. Yes, sir.
Do you work with 1031 outlay purchases?
We do sometimes, yeah. Not as much as we'd like to. That's an avenue that we want to open up a lot more, because I think it's a win-win for both of us, but not as much as we should.
Just because your timing is unusual.
Right.
That it's so quick and it's so direct and predictable. It seems like it fits in a 1031 window time frame.
Oh, 100%, yeah. And honestly, it's just a kind of an avenue that we haven't been able to capture yet. It's one of those situations, like right now there's so many buyers out there. So many people are fighting and clawing for deals to where we're in a pretty good situation, but it's a good win-win for us. That and the self-directed IRAs, those are both areas that we need to probably get better at.
Is your typical buyer a single buyer of a single property? Is that the typical deal, or do you have groups of a guy forms an LLC, he's got 5 people involved, they go around, they buy individual properties to rehab?
I would say our best buyer is probably going to be the person that does like 5 to 7 a year. Not the huge institutional buyers who have a massive marketing budget and can basically do what we do, But I'd prefer not to have it be one and done. That happens sometimes because a lot of people don't have a reality of what it takes to flip a property. They watched a reality show, or they binge watch some type of HGTV, and they think that it's easy. It's hard. It's very hard. But
it looks easy though.
In a 30-minute segment to make 30 racks, yeah, that does look very, very easy. I agree.
Yeah. I was here tonight because you watched HDTV, flip a flop or something years ago.
Yeah, it's a good show. Yeah,
it's a good show.
No, it's been good to our business, right? It motivates the hell out of everybody.
Yes,
so.
Absolutely.
Can you expand on what he was talking about? I think I've heard of that
1031 exchange?
Yeah, what is
that?
that?
So basically where an investor sells a property, they have a set amount of time to allocate those funds into another property. So it has to be an investment property. Is it 90 days?
90? 60 days.
60
designation.
Days. To identify the property.
To identify it. And then 6 months to close.
6 months to close. So, you see, that is a situation we should probably be capitalizing on more, and it's something that we'll definitely work on, but, there's a lot of those buyers out there. Yes, sir.
Sorry, just a clarification to his question. You do sell to LLCs?
Oh, yeah. Mostly LLCs.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll sell to a personal, buyer. You can take it down in your personal name if you want. Most hard money lenders will not lend to an individual name, though.
Now, if someone from the audience that wants to do wholesale in themselves, in the beginning, what did you run? What's the hardest thing that you ran into?
It's all hard. There's nothing easy about this. Yeah. I mean, from finding the money, finding the investors, finding the property, it's challenging. Yeah, it's tough.
How did you find your money first?
Like I said, I was in the right place at the right time. Okay. Yeah, I was just in the right place at the right time. I went in for an interview with a oversized men's warehouse suit that was probably one of the first suits I ever wore. Sat down and had no idea what I was doing, and they walked me through the sales pit, which was this teeny little sales pit, with a bunch of cheap cubicles, and I'll never forget it. They're like, "Hey, this guy just made $10,000 last month." And I'd just come from the NFL where I was like, shit, I have a lot of bills. I just bought an expensive car. I had all this overhead that I needed to fill. I was like, that guy? And I went over and shook his hand and met him a little bit. I was like, all right, I'll start. That's just who I am. I'm just super competitive. But, I think having the right team, the right resources, people in your back, doing it by yourself is so hard. It's challenging. I mean, some people can do it, but, I'm a big team guy.
Do you work with wholesalers? Do you buy?
Oh, for sure. We buy a ton from wholesalers. Yeah. If you guys have any deals, contact me. We'll buy them all. So seriously, why wouldn't you utilize our network?
Yeah.
Because you're not going to be able to establish that network. It costs too much money, but we can all make money. You can sell it to us. I don't care how much money you make. You're going to make as much money as you can negotiate the deal down. I don't care. So honestly, the more money you make, it's going to be better because I'm going to be the first person you call next time.
Right. But for that wholesale deal, what back to kind of what's your margin of profit on the sell side? What's this on the acquisition side?
We don't have a specific margin. Yeah, I mean, ideally we'd like to make at least $10,000 on a deal.
Okay.
Just because marketing costs, everything costs so much. But I mean, we've done deals to where we make nothing. We sell it for exactly what we bought it for, but that opened up a relationship on our purchase side. That also opened up a relationship on our sales side. So we like to think long term. We're not going to just think immediate, So obviously I want to make as much as I can, but
yeah.
New Western has a ton of different agents that work under it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you let your investors pick which agents they want to work with, or how does that process work?
So the lead comes through, and then the way that we have it structured is it automatically notifies all the agents, and then the first one to claim the lead, call the lead, set the meeting with the lead, gets the investor. So it's a very competitive environment. Yeah, very competitive environment.
Wow. So they're all competing among themselves.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
If the investor doesn't like their experience with that person, do they have an option to go to somebody else, or?
I mean, they could, but they're going to get the same deals.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, some sales. Ideally, I'm not going to allow a sales agent to sit on my team who's not doing his job correctly. So if an investor comes to me and says he's not sending them deals, he's not providing them information, that sales agent probably isn't a good fit for me.
Nice.
So how do you determine the offer price whenever you get a deal? Or analyzing the deal?
Yeah, so we'll evaluate what kind of repairs it needs, right? What we think it could probably be worth, right? What we think we could sell it for. And then we offer just a little bit less than that.
To have a little bit of margin.
Yeah, we have to make money.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Since you're in all these different states, do all of the agents have access to every state's inventory, or is it?
They do, but we kind of discourage it. Honestly, and again, I'm going to go back to how much respect I have for guys like you who can invest and successfully maintain a business out of state. It is so hard. It's so hard. So for me, if an investor from Texas is trying to remotely buy a property from me, what's he going to do? He's going to buy it sight unseen, right? What kind of complications come with a sight unseen purchase? A lot of liability that I'm not really comfortable with.
Even though you've already done all the due diligence for the buyer?
I've done the due diligence for myself. I don't know I don't know the buyers. I don't know what you like and what you don't like and what's going to scare you. One thing about this industry is I've realized I cannot make the decision for somebody else.
I think that's the personality type too.
Yeah, I mean, once I do that, I'm probably should quit the industry because you never know. I'm always surprised. Every single day I'm surprised. I'm surprised that investor bought in that area, that price point, and, it's nuts. I don't know. They told me a completely different thing when I met with them. It's just, I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah. So how has your strategy changed over time ever since you come to California? I'm sure it changed a lot since the market condition has been different, right?
You mean from Texas to California?
From Texas to California.
Yeah, I have to qualify people a lot better. I no longer believe what people tell me the first time I meet them. I no longer do handshake deals anymore.
Is that team members or people
all
that
of
you?
us. Yeah. And it's nothing against any of you if you're born and raised in California. It's just there's a lot of people out here that are very, very good at faking it and professional scam artists. It's crazy, So Texas is different. Texas people, they're, And I grew up in California, so I'm a Californian. But I lived in Texas for 11 years, and one of the first things, the first year we were out here, I literally had to do a training on how to identify a liar because we were having meetings with people that were so dishonest and they didn't have the money to close, and they would still try to contract a property from us. They would still bring $20,000 in earnest money, and they didn't have the money to close. It was it blew my mind. I mean, this type of stuff happens all the time. It's just, I don't know, it's crazy, So just being extra thorough on the qualification of people.
Can you give a little example?
Almost too much. Okay, I'll give you an example. The other day, one of our sales agents from our Eagle Rock office sold a property to a lady. I think the sales price was $115,000 or something like that. She brought the $20,000 cashier's check. She was ready to go. We thought she was good. She had a pre-approval letter from a hard money lender, and we open up escrow. Everything is good. She had another $6,000 to close. I mean, how are you going to do that, right? Why would you ever give someone a $20,000 non-refundable cashier's check and all you have is $6,000 in your bank? I don't know. It was just mind-boggling. She couldn't perform. She was trying to get money from her family or friends, but stuff like this happens all the time. It's nutty. I don't know. It's just, people are crazy.
So did you go through it online, or what happened?
We ended up having to sell it to somebody else, and yeah, I mean, we gave her the benefit of the doubt in the situation, but yeah, it's nuts. Would you get in a situation like that? Would you spend every amount of money that you have in your bank account on a deal? It's gnarly, but it happens a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the TV shows.
I was just going to say that.
Is it? You think? Maybe.
I think so.
I'm trying to figure out what it is. It's something, but.
I got a question for you. So are there other companies like you guys, like New Western?
I mean, anybody is our competition, right? Any real estate agent, any investor, any hedge fund, anybody is our competition, So, I don't know, I'm sure there are, right? I wouldn't consider anybody in our class just because we are going to work harder than all those folks. But I'm sure there are.
What's your philosophy on training? I mean, you obviously have some good agents. How do you invest in them and get them to that next level in sales or negotiation? Do you do that in-house, or do you outsource training?
Yeah, so it's all in-house. Yeah, so the training when they start with us is usually about a month. So 2 weeks formal training. It's kind of a challenge, right? For me, it's a big investment into these individuals, and there's nothing that I can tell from an interview or a personality test or interview questions to determine if someone has what it takes to survive in this industry. It's really just how bad do you want it? I've had the most educated, highest level of education people, doctorates, MBAs, all that just don't have that drive, But the ones who are straight out of high school and hungry and have something to work for are typically the best. But we train them. Yeah, before I get them on the phone, before they start representing me, they're going to know what they're talking about.
So you have your own internal systems and procedures, policies, and you kind of thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
I know you talked about your typical margin is about 10 to 15%. Is that right?
The investor's margin, right? Yeah, cash on cash
margin.
return.
So what's your typical margin then?
Shoot, as much as we can make, right? Whatever we can buy it for less than that.
Do you have a ballpark, maybe?
Our average fee is what you're saying? I think we were at 24 last year.
24?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you seen it change depending on the different time of the market? Or has it increased?
I mean, summertime right now is the hottest, right? Wintertime it kind of slows down a little bit. I mean, this is as good as I've ever seen right now.
Really?
Yeah, this is crazy. Yeah. I mean, I say we get it as best as we can for the next couple of years because interest rates are so low still. Days on markets are so low right now. Inventory is so low right now. That's just the perfect recipe to invest. You know, everybody, I get it, the doomsday, right? 10-year trend, like we're all, everybody's thinking about it, right? It's in the back of our head, but still, interest rates are still under 5%. Right? For those of you who have been in this market for a long time, like, interest rates are still under 5%.
How do you anticipate the doomsday, let's say, when market crash? What's your strategy to?
I mean,
There'll be a lot of stuff.
yeah, that's the thing, man. I mean, honestly,
You have capital.
You have capital.
it's kind of dark to think, but I'm almost anticipating it, because if I knew now what I knew back then in 2008 when I started this, I wouldn't have to work as hard as I do now. You know, so for us, our strategy shifts from flippers to landlords.
Right.
Our margins just decrease a bit. You know, back then we were selling properties 60, 70 cents on the dollar. Now we're 70 to 80 cents on the dollar. But there's always going to be a need for housing. There's always going to be investors.
Right.
Always. Right? I mean, unless that changes, then we might be in trouble. But I don't see that happening. Not in my lifetime, I hope, at least.
So would you suggest to blow up the cash now, to have some capitals on hand just to wait in case?
I'd say build as much as you can right now. I mean, days on market are so low, guys. I mean, you guys know. Anybody who's into the industry, it's insane.
Yeah.
It's as low as I've ever seen. Even like $1 million plus, like $1 million to 1.5 days on market are under 30 days. Like, come on.
In
Really?
LA or Orange County?
Yeah, LA.
LA.
And Orange County.
And Orange County.
Orange County's slowing down a little bit, right? Some of the higher end market, but still, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
What's your hottest region then?
Like central LA. Yeah, we've been crushing it around like USC.
Mm-hmm. What makes that area that unique then?
There's a lot of owners that have a lot of equity. There's a lot of old properties that need a lot of renovations, especially this new ADU ordinance where a lot of investors are able to go buy and add an ADU has been huge lately.
What is that? What's ADU?
Auxiliary dwelling units. So basically you're allowed to build an additional unit, so almost making a single family property that's zoned for SFR into basically a duplex. Yeah, so you're able to add an ADU on these properties, which is a huge value add. Huge value add.
Is there a requirement that ADU has to have a family member of whoever's in front?
The only place that I'm aware of that is Inglewood, as of right now, to where you have to be related to the person that's in the ADU. Other than that, but it's new, so I think it's still based off of each city. So that's an experience I just had on a property we sold recently.
So it is in Hawaii.
Is it?
Yeah.
Do you have like any examples of deals you've done like on your site, like with actual numbers and profits?
Yeah. Go on our website. Yeah, newwestern.com. It doesn't say like success deals. We have like a success library, like of like successful flips, but you can see actual properties that we're selling or have sold on our website.
Okay.
Do you see, speaking of doomsday, I think that's probably something that, we know that, there are a lot of things, people that says the market can crash over the next couple of years. Mm-hmm. Do you see your business model going to be changing, and how will you be changing depending on the market?
Yeah, like I said earlier, we're literally just going to switch from selling to flippers to selling to landlords. When I started this, I'm obviously overly optimistic because when I started this in 2008, like we would buy houses in neighborhoods where there were no retail comps whatsoever. Every single evaluation we had to make was based off of rental income. Because, back in 2008, lenders were not lending. Like, it was just shut down completely. So, I mean, in a sick way, I kind of anticipated, I'm hoping for it. I'm going to be ready this time. But it's just, is that bad to say?
Yeah.
Kind of.
When you say retail comps, it's comparable deals?
Yeah, like a retail sale, like an owner-occupant sale, like FHA or, something that's top of the market sale.
So I take it go ahead.
Is your typical buyer a landlord or a flipper?
Flippers.
And then if they're flippers, do they have typical guys, the pre-qualified guys, do they have their own team, their own construction team, their own rehab team?
The most successful ones do. Yeah, that's the biggest challenge is finding a good general construction crew and contractors, because that's what I see so often. There's very few regulations on GCs and licensed contractors, and I see it. I mean, myself personally, I've been ripped off half a dozen times by general contractors, and there's no recourse, right? I mean, they're required to have like a $50,000 bond. You know, like, it's tough. So if you find a good GC, you find a good crew, you need to keep them close. You need to keep them busy, because that's one of the most valuable parts of the entire process. Absolutely. They're hard to find. It sucks, but they are.
How many GCs do you work with right now?
None. I don't renovate houses.
You don't need.
We used to refer out general contractors. You know, we'd have like a preferred vendor list, but we don't do that anymore because they all end up dropping the ball. They all end up not being able to handle the workload. I see the same thing back in the day. It's like the general contractor Ponzi scheme, right? So where I start a job with you, I'm going to say, hey, I need 20% up front. You're going to give me the money. I'm going to go blow it on beer and booze, whatever it's going to be. And then I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to start a job with you. I'm going to need 20% up, right? And then I don't have enough money to finish your job. I don't have enough money to finish your job, so I'm going to have to go get a job from you. I'm going to take your 20% and spend maybe 10% to finish your job. And it just always, I mean, I've seen it so many times, guys. So like with general contractors, do not pay them up front. Do not pay them up front. It sucks. It's tough, but I've seen it so many times.
I agree.
Yeah, it's bad, right? Like every single one of us has a horror story about a GC, I would assume.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So you said that when you guys are looking to acquire a property, you're going in there and you're doing your own analysis on, what needs to be done and how you're going to pitch the project, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are there any instances when you think to look out for that will completely turn you off of a property? I mean, is there something that you'll see and just say, no, this is not for us?
Like a solar lease?
What's that?
A solar lease?
Solar. Okay.
No, I mean, sometimes, yeah, if it's so bad, but I mean, there's always going to be a number, right? I mean, whatever it costs to fix it, we're just going to discount that from our acquisition price. So, I mean, very rarely. Something we're challenged with a lot right now is tenants. It's having to evict tenants, especially in Los Angeles where there's rent control. That's something that turns off myself and a lot of other investors, so that and solar are probably a couple of the biggest complications that we deal with on a regular basis.
Yeah, I'm personally not so familiar with the solar, but I guess the follow-up question would be, is there something that you do look for that you really do love to see?
What's that?
No, I'm saying when you're going and purchasing these properties, are there highlights on the properties that you're like, okay, this is great, we need this property?
Yeah, I mean, you feel it when you go and walk into a neighborhood, right? Or when you drive up to the house and it's a good feel in the neighborhood, you walk into the house. It's like, it's not something that you can put on paper, but just it's a good area, it's a good house, has good bones. Like, I don't know, it's just one of those things that I can't put an exact title on, but you just kind of feel it,
You were talking about tracking all of your investors' sales prices so that you know how they did in relation to your ARVs. Are you tracking any other performance indicators like their hold times or?
I mean, we have all that data. I haven't really dug into it too deeply, but I mean, I could. Yeah, it's usually pretty shorter than what we anticipate.
Yeah, because on your offering memorandums, you guys have projected hold times on them, or?
Well, in our CMA, it's going to show the average days on market for all the comps that we include. So that should be a good indicator on your however long your renovation is going to take, then however long it's going to be on the market, and then whatever time it's going to take to close once you've accepted an offer.
Cool. Can we negotiate the price with you directly?
No, sir. Yeah. No, we don't negotiate.
That is what it is?
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, so the numbers either make sense or they don't. Yeah. So we try to simplify. We try to take out all the BS that you guys are used to on the day-to-day basis, dealing with the MLS or dealing with other people. If the numbers make sense, if the margins make sense, you buy it. And if you buy it, you're going to buy it. You're not going to just contract it and waste our time. So yeah, we eliminate a lot of the fakers and the people who want to, waste time, but we don't have time for that. Nobody has time for that,
A lot of work in the front end, so that's what you're back
Yeah,
end.
no, absolutely.
That's on the buyer side, but if I came to you as a wholesaler myself and I was trying to wholesale the property to you, then is there a negotiation?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure, yeah. You mean as far as am I going to just accept whatever you say?
Right.
If the price is right, I'm going to say yes. If the price isn't right, we're going to have to talk, but I'm a big believer in win-wins, right? I mean, the only reason you're going to call me for your next deal is if you make money on the deal.
Yeah.
So I get it. I've been there,
This is a general question. What advice would you have for newer investors coming into the market, today's market?
Just don't underestimate the workload that it's going to take. It's not easy. There is nothing easy about this. A lot of times once you're established and once you've done it for a while, it may look easy, but there's been a lot of front end work to get to where you're at, and you have to run into every single project as if you're running a business. I mean, you have to manage everything. You have to be there daily. You have to make sure that the people are working. You have to make sure that your material is ordered. It's a lot of work. Just don't underestimate it. A lot of people think that it's easy, and maybe that's because of the TV shows or whatever, but it's not, man. Like, this is not for the faint of heart. This is not for people who are lazy or they want to make quick money. That's just not the case. I hate to break it to you. But just be ready to work. If you work hard, if you're willing to grind, there's a lot of money to be made,
Someone has to be there every day.
Right. Unfortunately, man, that's the truth. Yeah, I mean, they will sleep on the job. They will not show up. Like,
there's always delays.
Oh my God! Of course, there's that.
Yeah. Can you give a little bit of examples? A couple of different examples of what kind of bad deals have you had? Because I know that most of the time we see great deals on TV, how they do it, and then I think it would be really great if you could talk about your bad deals, so that we can kind of add more value to people.
I'll tell you one. So about 2 weeks ago, one of our agents out of our Corona office acquired a deal in Los Angeles, and we got frauded out of $700,000. Wow. Yeah. So it was a guy who stole somebody's identity 3 months earlier, falsified the deed, and they worked directly with this broker. They falsified the notary stamp. And they got everyone. I mean, they tricked the escrow company, they tricked the title company, they tricked us, and then we resold it, backside title company. Obviously, these are all covered under title insurance, right? So lawyer's title is going to pay out on it, but it was just mind-boggling. It's crazy. These guys are getting so good at the fraud, the wire fraud too. These folks that are phishing your guys' emails, it's crazy. Be careful, because I mean they're so smart, they're so sophisticated. It's like, it blows my mind because they could probably be really good at legal work. Like they could probably, they're so sophisticated they could really make a good income if they did it legally. The amount of work and effort that they put into these frauds, it's mind-boggling. It's crazy, but that just happened. So we had an investor that went out and they were ready to start the renovations, and the seller was like, "What? What are you talking about?" And of course, it starts to unwind, right? And luckily, the investor's getting all their money back. Lawyer's title is paying it out. We get title insurance on every single property. That's a title insurance property, but shit, man, that's crazy. Yeah, it's gnarly. These folks, be careful.
Is that the worst that has ever happened?
I'm going to say that's probably one of the worst. Yeah, that's the biggest loss I've ever taken. I'm not going to say it's a loss yet because we're going to get the money back. But yeah, that's I've had a couple of sleepless nights over that one. Definitely,
absolutely.
As far as what, just deals?
Yeah,
that are bad.
What kind of other bad deals? I mean, that sounds like a very bad case, but maybe bad analysis.
Right. You missed something.
Yeah, something that you missed that caused the deal to go down.
We don't really overanalyze deals. That's kind of the investor's job. We just focus on the acquisition and the price, and we're going to provide that property with a price to you. The rest is up to you. So I'm not trying to tell you what I think it's going to be worth. I'm not going to try to tell you what it's going to take to renovate the property. I'm not going to tell you what it's going to rent for. That's all the due diligence you as an investor need to do. So we try to eliminate that liability as much as we can.
Have you ever bought anything that you lost money, or you can't sell it for the price that you guys thought you can?
Yeah, but very rarely.
And when that happens, why does it happen? Do you guys go look at it?
Because one of our agents overpays for it, or maybe they were a little bit sloppy on the acquisition. You know, just kind of lack of attention to details. Yeah, something along those lines, or they miss something major.
So there's no overview on what they actually acquired?
Before we send it out, yeah, I'll typically try to look at it, you know, but we're doing so many deals that it's hard to keep up with everything.
So you guys are buying about 30 a month?
In the Long Beach office, yeah, so we did another, I'd say, I think like 18 this month in the Eagle Rock office, and I think they're close to 20 in the Corona office. So as a whole, we're doing a lot, yeah.
That's crazy because I've been looking in the Long Beach area and I haven't found 30.
Oh, that's not all in Long Beach. Yeah, I would say probably two of those are Long Beach.
Okay, I was gonna say,
Two of those.
where'd you find
Two of those are Long Beach.
Okay.
Yeah. So our territory is like all the way through South Bay. You know, we're doing a lot of the central Los Angeles areas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
More sense.
Long Beach is tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. Yeah.
Cool. Well, what kind of due diligence steps do you usually have, when looking and analyzing a property for acquisition? What kind of steps do you go into?
So we're going to analyze the repairs, right? We're going to analyze what we think it's going to be worth, right? And then we're going to negotiate the purchase price. Once we get an accepted contract, that's just the first step. And then we're going to basically qualify whatever escrow company is. There's so many fraudulent escrow companies out there that we have to make sure that they're a legitimate escrow company.
Escrow companies?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, so make sure that they're licensed and they're in good standing, right? And then also you have to evaluate the prelim, right? Make sure that the title is clear and whatever liens are going to be paid off. And for us, that's kind of the majority of it, right? And make sure that we can deliver clear and marketable title. But from a due diligence standpoint on the renovation process, an investor has to do it all. They have to make sure whatever unpermitted areas are going to be able to be permitted, that they can do what they want to do to the property, so for the investor, it's a lot more.
And it's the investor's job to do the inspection, right? So if there's any foundational issues, structural issues, anything
Correct.
like that.
Yeah, you got to do that before you contract it from us.
So you being the realtor, also you don't wear any of that responsibility.
Yeah, so the first moment that I meet you, you have to actually sign a notice of non-representation. I don't represent anybody. I don't work for anybody. Yeah, we just sell you properties.
Yeah. So if during that due diligence, somebody wants to send out a property inspector to take a look at the place, they can do that?
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
So, but they can't get the property under contract yet, right? So
So the risk that you take is you spent a few $100s on an inspection, and if you come to me with an offer and you want to buy it without an inspection, I'm going to accept your offer.
Okay.
So, it's just kind of the risk that you take.
Okay.
Only because he was a higher bid.
No, not necessarily. No, just because he brought me a cashier's check and non-contingent offer, I'm going to go with him.
Right.
Yeah, so, we don't offer any inspection periods. There's just not enough time. We're usually closing within 2 weeks. So, if we offered a 5-day inspection period, we're going to eat up all of our time.
With the 85 to 90% of people doing hard money loans, are they usually getting their appraisal done before they contract with you or after?
If it's a hard money lender that we're not familiar with, we're going to make sure that they approve the deal. So a hard money lender will do a desktop approval, right? So I'm comfortable with this deal. They're not going to be able to do an appraisal. It's not going to take, the timing doesn't fit right for them to be able to do that appraisal before they contract a property from us.
BPO doesn't matter?
No, that a BPO is fine. Usually the good hard money lenders out there, they do their own BPO. So they'll just be able to do a desktop approval of the deal right then and there.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I may add a little bit of value, excuse me, from the buyer side, I have bought. I flip, and I'm like what he said, 5 to 10 a year, and so I've purchased property through New Western, and I did meet him here at a FIBI meeting. Phenomenal. And so I'm just hoping to kind of add value from an investor standpoint. He's like, I love his sports background, and I'm a sports person. So if you think football, he's like, look, I'm going to give you the ball. There's going to be a hole. All you got to do is hit that hole. It's literally that simple. They're buttoned down, professional, and like he says, eliminating the BS. I came with a cashier's check, no contingency. I looked at the offers. He's going to give you, I think there was more than 10 on my CMAs. He gave me all the comparables. I could go. I even called some of I found through Redfin. because I'm not an agent. I don't have a license. I just called some of the closings that he gave me. I called the agents, talked to the agents. I even drove neighborhoods from some of the comparables. Everything was legit.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
and then like, so the discount, the deep discount that I bought at, even with some hiccups, and I ended up holding the property a little bit longer than I thought. No problem. Put it back on the market, and multiple offers, and I did well. And I've got a 5-month-old at home, so I haven't bought in the last 5 months. My wife gets a power of veto. But knowing that Deke was here, my wife was like, "You need to be at that meeting."
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
So,
That means a lot.
I mean,
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Just
Thank
as
you.
a buyer, I can vouch for what they're doing. And
Thank you.
it almost sounds like it's too simple, but they're that professional. It's legitimately that simple.
Nice.
Yeah, we just don't want to waste any time. We don't want to waste your time. We don't want to waste our time. It's just too valuable across the board. So some people may think, oh, it's so cutthroat, I can't sign a contract that's non-contingent. I mean, it is what it is. You have to know what you're willing to get into, right? There's risk involved in investing. You have to be able to move fast, but it is very rewarding when you make people money, right? That's a bond that you have that's going to last for a very long time. It's rewarding. I like it. From a sales agent who works for me to an investor who buys from me, to me, I feel good about that at the end of the day.
How do you grow your investors? I mean, you definitely vet them, but at the same time, it sounds like you have a vast number of investors. How do you actually grow that investor base?
Like what? Like develop the individual investors, or just as a numbers game as a whole?
As a numbers game, as a whole.
We do advertising. Yeah, we spend a lot of money on advertising and marketing, and it's not rocket science on how to find cash buyers out here. I could get on the computer tomorrow and find 100 of y'all. It's really not that hard. We're kind of in one of those situations as far as the market goes.
And then you vet them whenever they
Yeah, absolutely. So before we ever send them a deal, they have to understand the terms of our transaction. They have to understand that there are no contingencies, that their money is going to be non-refundable, that we guarantee clear and marketable title, that they have to pay for all the closing costs. We're not trying to have any surprises, right? I'm not going to have a sales agent drive from Long Beach to Pasadena to show a property to get hung up on surprises of details of the transaction. We're going to have to cover all of that ahead of time, and that's just transparency across the board. So some people, why do I have to come meet with you? Why can't you just send me the properties? It's just the way that we are. We're talking about high dollar amounts. We're talking about an average sales price and cash transaction of $500,000. Are you going to feel comfortable with giving a stranger a $20,000 cashier's check in Compton? No, right? Like, you want to know who you're dealing with, a professional, maybe meet the broker, know where the office is. So that's just one of the things that we have to do. It's just a requirement. And some people don't like it, but it's something that we're never going to waver away from.
How many of your investors are brand new investors versus people doing repeat deals?
Not very many brand new lately. There was a time I feel like there was a fair amount, but for the most part, I'd say it's repeat buyers. But we've been out here for 5 years now. At the very beginning, it was obviously everybody was brand new.
Well, I'm saying a new, like someone who just says, I'm going to start fixing and flipping.
Their first deal?
Yeah,
oh, it's terrifying. I don't know, not very many. Not very many.
Yeah, you're with more savvy investors.
I mean, we'll sell to them and we'll give them the opportunity, but I want to make sure that they're going to be successful. I don't want someone to jump into a deal and lose money. That's not a win for anybody. You're going to be upset about me. You're going to be upset about the company. You're going to be upset about real estate, investing, so I want to make sure that you have all your ducks in a line before you buy a $500,000 house from us.
So your office is 5 years new?
Yeah, so we came out here, it's almost 5 years now. Yeah, it was our first office. We opened up out in Orange, and then since then we've got an office out in Long Beach, Eagle Rock, and then Corona. So we're putting another office back in Orange, so probably Orange or Anaheim, just to kind of cover Orange County. But, I mean, this market out here, we could have 20 offices. It's crazy. This is the biggest market. 20 million people? Yeah, we have 9 offices in Dallas-Fort Worth. So, how many can we have out here? 19? Maybe?
Do you see yourself going anywhere anytime soon?
Oh, man, I'm going to live out here as long as I can afford it. It's beautiful out here. Are you kidding me? This is wet. It's incredible. I can drive to the beach. Yeah, I've lived everywhere. This is as good as it gets.
So where do you see the next couple of years? I guess the market, because I know everybody's talking about doomsday. Do you see that as far as the flipping market?
I mean, it has to happen eventually, right? I mean, the guidelines on the lending side have been so strict for the last 10 years that it's not like there's a bunch of subprime mortgages out there. There's not a bunch of creative financing out there, so unless the Fed drastically increases the interest rates, which they might do, unless some type of external factor happens, that is beyond our control, maybe it could make a big dent in the market. But I don't see anything as drastic as what happened in 2007, 2008. There's just not the writing on the wall for it. It's hard. Has anybody dealt with the conventional financing lately? It's crazy, right? You'd probably think you're a great borrower with good income, and I mean, you have to jump through so many hoops and red tape to even get qualified. It's gnarly. It's crazy. So
cool. Okay. Well, after today, who wants to become a flipper? Right?
Scare you guys away a little bit.
Seems like wholesalers doing a lot better.
But flippers make a lot of money, man. They do. The ones that have the good crews, that they're disciplined about it, they make way more money than we do on these deals. But they have to be willing to invest a lot of time and energy into it.
It's a full-time job by itself, huh?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no question about it.
Looking for deals that's about 10 to 15% spread return.
If you're looking for a cosmetic fixer, if you're wanting something easy, you're not wanting to do value adds, you're not wanting to do any type of major renovations, I'm going to say 10 to 15% return. If you want anything higher than that, you have to get either above $1 million or you have to do some type of value adds. I'm a big believer in value adds. When we're dealing with areas that are selling for $500 a square foot and it costs $135 a square foot to build, why wouldn't you maximize that? It just doesn't make sense not to, So, but that's not for the novice investor. That's for an investor that has the capital and has the experience to be able to withstand a project that's going to last 6 to 8 months or even more, probably.
It depends on the cities.
Correct.
How fast they will approve.
Exactly.
Those plans.
Definitely.
Yeah. Do you know what cities that's easier to do add-ons compared to other cities?
I don't off the top of my head, no. I mean, you can get it done anywhere.
LA County is huge. County areas.
Well, LA County is just slow, right? They're so big and they're processing so many applications and so many permits that it just takes a lot of time, but I mean, it just kind of depends. I don't know.
So, a lot of people are trying to jump ship from their career path to probably potentially to real estate. Mm-hmm. Would you recommend them to actually start off with flipping?
I mean, if they're willing to work and grind, absolutely. If they're willing to sacrifice and do what it takes, for sure. If you're looking for an easy gravy train, that's not what it is. Yeah, I mean, the reason we're successful is because I work harder than every single person around me, right? And that's the only way that people are going to be successful at this. There's nothing easy about it. No matter what TV show says, whatever book you read, it is hard work. You're going to have sleepless nights. You're going to have stressful days. You're going to have battles with contractors, with sellers, with buyers, with lenders. I mean, it's, some days are fist fights. Some days are walks in the park. It's not for everybody. It's tough. But I would say yes. If you're a worker and if you're self-motivated, why not? What are you going to do? You're going to go work for somebody else your entire life? You're going to go live off of somebody else's scraps? It just doesn't make sense. A lot of people are scared of the 1099. They're scared of, the being self-employed or commission-only jobs. To me, I'd be terrified to work for a corporation that's going to lay me off at any point. Right, because they don't pay you enough to cover any bills. What kind of severance package are they going to give you?
Yeah, to go paycheck to paycheck.
Paycheck to paycheck. That would be terrifying to me.
Yeah,
especially out here. It's so expensive to live.
Absolutely.
Right. Is it possible to do this part-time?
I mean, maybe a deal or two a year. Not on a high level, no. Absolutely not, yeah. Not in my opinion. Some people might be more talented than we are, but it takes a lot of work to get this done.
What are the biggest mistakes that you probably see some of the new investors they have done?
Contractors. Bad contractors, not vetting their contractors correctly, not researching them online, seeing if there's any formal complaints on them, giving them money up front, not having them sign a release of liability, hiring unlicensed folks. A lot of these joint ventures I see that go south, it's money makes people weird, right? It does, right? Money makes people weird, so if you're going to partner up with a stranger, to me that's just nuts. So I've seen it all, man. Every single week is something new.
Cool. Any more questions?
Yeah. So for new investors wanting to get into flipping, if you already you said that maybe you could do it part-time, do 1 or 2 flips a year. Would you recommend that would be a good way to transition into that industry and that lifestyle? Rely on the security of your paycheck and kind of start flipping part-time, or would you recommend jumping straight into it?
Yeah, I mean, some people can do it, and I'm a little bit crazy about things. I personally feel like you're not going to be as successful if you have a backup plan or if you have some type of cushion to fall back on, So for me, I like to just jump all in and have nothing to fall back on, and that's when you really push yourself to that next level to force yourself to be successful or not, So some people may be able to do it. For me, I've never been that type of person that can have a backup plan. I've just never had one. I'm just like very focused on one thing. But there are people out there that do it. No question about it. There are people out there that do it. Me personally, I just couldn't.
Just not emptying your whole bank account, doing it.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Yeah, no, it's not a good idea.
Or put it on a credit card.
I've seen some crazy stuff. Yeah, don't do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Any more questions? Well, I just gotta say, you guys are awesome for being here tonight. Because by being here is half the battle. You have that mindset of you really want to get ahead, you really want to look more, and that's why, I really thank Deke for coming here tonight to add value to all of you guys tonight.
I just want a testimonial for New Western as well. I'm from the lending side, so we do a lot of business with New Western, and I work with a lot of investors that every time they call in and they're looking for deals, it goes, my next call is New Western. So
nice. Thank you very much, man.
We love working with them.
Yeah, we try to keep our reputation good, and the only way we're able to do that is by putting out good product, right? That should hopefully keep it high.
Yep.
Thank you.
Cool. Wasn't he awesome? Yeah.